guys, welcome back to Cinch University. I am your host, Rick Porter, and today I'm joined by Mike Mosier, our Director of New Technology. Mike has spent years developing our training program and working with our consultants all across the US, and today we're going to be talking to him about what makes Cinch IT such a great, trusted advisor and consultant to our clients. Mike, thanks for being here. I appreciate you taking the time out.
Happy to be here.
So I have a couple questions prepared. I'm going to go right down the list of some ones I want to ask you and some things that I think are valuable for our franchisees to hear about what makes a good consultant and the type of things that you're currently looking at as a consultant with your customers. So the very first question I have for you guys is, Cinch IT considers themselves trusted advisors, okay? And most of that comes from consulting new business technology. Can you tell me what that means? What does it mean to be a trusted advisor?
So a trusted advisor is somebody that doesn't try to push products on a customer. You know, we don't want to move somebody to the cloud just to move them to the cloud, or we don't want to give them a product just to give them a product. We want to listen to the customer's needs and give them the right solution for their needs.
Okay, so if you're becoming a trusted advisor by listening to your clients' needs, learning more about their business, how do you get them to tell you what they need? Or is it simply you're just telling them what they need? How does that work?
So part of it is done at the assessment. Part of it is done through quarterly business reviews, which are led by the account manager. And then the third part is done through the routine MSP visits, which are done via the franchise Onsite tech.
Got it. So three different ways we're assessing those needs. You said the first one is the assessment. Walk me through that. How is it that during the assessment you determine what the client's needs are?
So the assessment is that first deep dive. You know, that's depending on the size of the client, hour and a half, 2 hours. And that's where the account manager and the on-site tech, they go in, and the tech will get into the server, into the network, they'll get logged in, they'll run a scan if we can, they'll take a look at all the technical aspects. They'll look at the backups they're running, the antivirus, so on and so forth. The account manager has their own list of questions that they dive into, and they say, hey, what are we using for software? What are you using for backups? Why did you bring us in?
Sure.
You know, what made you call Cinch IT?
Absolutely.
And those questions sort of start off that whole relationship, and it sets that off. And that leads the tech to write that first assessment summary, and that assessment summary says, I found XYZ as problems, and here are ABC recommendations.
Gotcha. So some of them are hard facts that you discovered when you were there, like you said, based on hardware, software, things like that you're looking at. And the other part is really just a guided conversation. What headaches do you have? What frustrations do you have? What's working really well for you? What's not working well for you? What's the future look like, right? What's that crystal ball for 6 months, a year, 5 years down the road? Got it. You also mentioned MSP on-sites, which for those of you who don't know, are when our technicians are actually going on site and visiting our clients on a regular basis, at least once a month, to check in with our clients, to make sure everything's running well, get that face time, develop that relationship. So how is it that we're discovering needs during those on-site visits?
So one of the biggest things that come up during those on-site visits are what we call the "oh, while you're here's." A lot of customers, they won't call in with issues that take 5 seconds for them to click through. Little error warning that pops up, they close it up. But if they see the on-site tech, they say, hey, Mike, while you're here, I get this error all the time. Can you take a look at this?
Yep.
And it may uncover some underlying issue that leads to something bigger.
Sure.
So that comes up a lot, but that FaceTime leads to so much rapport building, and just seeing your IT guy on a month-to-month basis in a positive light, saying, I see Cinch here on a monthly basis, and I know they're doing work because they're here on a monthly basis. I get my monthly ticket summaries, and we don't have a lot of issues. So Cinch IT is doing work, they're doing what they're telling me that they're doing, and we don't have a lot of issues. I can trust these guys. And I see them all the time. They don't just show up when something's wrong. That's how you become a trusted advisor.
Gotcha. And I'm assuming because they see you on a regular basis and because they see you working on issues, or like you said, they get reporting showing you different things they're working on, that you have developed not only that trust, but a good relationship where they feel comfortable talking to you about frustrations, or sometimes it's just a wish list. I wish I could do this, and I wish I could do that. And then you often take that and turn it into answers, fixes, consulting, advice to be able to resolve or meet those needs that the clients are talking about. Which is great. So the third one you talked about is quarterly business reviews. So quarterly business reviews, for those of you who don't know, is when your account manager actually meets with your client quarterly. They sit down, they talk about old issues, they talk about new projects, they talk about the technology roadmap. Tell us a little bit more about that technology roadmap, because I'm assuming that's a large part of how you're consulting your clients on a quarterly basis.
Correct. So the technology roadmap is one of the big pieces that the tech provides the account manager to help with the quarterly business review. It's a living document that will never go away, and it's something that starts with the assessment. So the assessment makes the first one.
Okay.
And then after we do the onboarding, it immediately gets updated. Like the original roadmap might say, install a business grade firewall, right? And then we implement a business grade firewall at onboarding.
Immediately onboarding.
Boom,
Got it.
gets crossed off. But then we might uncover new things, so we add them on. And then first quarterly business review comes up. Rick, the account manager, says, Mike, what's the roadmap for this client? I say, here's what we have on the roadmap. We uncovered some new things on onboarding. Spoke with the customer last month, and they mentioned
moving an office.
Exactly.
Buying a business.
Exactly. So this is on their long-term goals, 6 months, a year from now. So we got to keep it on the roadmap.
Got it. Yeah, makes perfect sense. So between the on-site visits, between the original assessment and the quarterly business reviews, you're talking to your client almost every month, every quarter, and on a regular basis, so that you know what's going on with them.
Exactly.
I definitely, obviously, can see how that builds a lot of trust and credibility with your clients. And the nice part of being a trusted advisor is you're no longer a salesperson. You're making recommendations they know is in their best interest, and so they're going to listen, and they're going to take your advice and implement some things that's going to make some major improvements for their business. Is there any one piece of technology or recommendation or consulting that you've ever given to a client that you've just seen dramatic impact on? Anything that comes out or sticks out to you?
Absolutely. We had a customer. They were a medical biller. So as you can imagine, HIPAA compliance, very important to them.
Yeah.
They came to us with a goal. They had an in-house IT guy. He liked Linux. They came to us with a goal. They said, we need to encrypt everything. They had a mix of Windows environments, Linux machines, things like that. It's part work group. They had like some machines on a domain, some on a work group. Anyways, it was a bit of a mess, and they had annual audits done, SOC audits by a third-party company, and they would get C's every year, and they took like a month plus to go through, and they were just a slog. We came in, got them up on a unified environment. All the servers were encrypted, all the workstations were encrypted, and we got them standardized documentation, standardized policies. Long story short, 2 years later, go through that audit, they get an A first time around, and the audit takes 2 weeks. Year after year, these audits take 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. They're going like clockwork, they're getting A's. It's increasing their business because they're able to show local hospitals, regional hospitals, local medical practices are saying, we are secure with patient data.
Sure.
They're able to show them this audit says that we're taking care of your patient data, and it's directly increasing their business.
No kidding. That's great. That's a good one. Well, Mike, I appreciate you being here and kind of talking to us a little bit about some of the consulting practices that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, some of the technology that's out there, and the recommendations that you and your technicians are focusing on. I appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully you guys learned something new. Hopefully you continue to check back and watch some of our new videos. Comment down below. We're happy to answer some of the questions. We get Mike to reply back to a lot of questions you may have. As always, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.